Good evening, good afternoon, or morning, wherever you may be. My name is Don Oshman, Editor-in-Chief of HideNet Publications. As you regular viewers know, it's time for the Sunday Night Week in Review. It's Sunday, September 11th, 2016, a day that they say shall live in infamy in American history. Latin America, David Holmes reports from Nuevo Hamburgo that TR1 wet blue are selling at about $1.20. Unconfirmed for $1.25, give or take $1.20 in most cases, depending on who the customer is, so on and so forth. Grain prices remain still too high for tanners to be competitive. They're losing, in some cases, 10 or 20 cents a foot. That's what they claim. And slaughter remains low, so there's no incentive for packers to lower the price to sell their green hides and fresh hides to these tanners. Other news out of the region is that Batista Brothers, who manage, primary owners of JBS, were involved in an investigation of 40 business leaders, and they've been enjoined from managing the company. How long that'll last remains to be seen, but hopefully it won't be too long. But JBS is such a huge organization, it probably won't make much of a difference. I don't know. In Europe, Andrea Guolo in Italy has a special report this week's Friday report on the MyCam and MyPel shows. Very interesting what went on there, the trends and everything else, something you want to see, available on HideNet by getting a trial subscription. HideNet.com, go to trial. What do you got to lose? We've said that every time. There's better interest in Europe for 36 and up ox heifer because there's not enough German bulls to go around. There's not enough supply for the automotive makers, so they're reaching out of their normal stocks, normal sources, to get enough hides to process for their business. And automotive business is okay, but it sure isn't terrific. It's not hot like it was. In fact, there was a story in the Wall Street Journal, I think this week, that maybe American sales have plateaued in 2016. Maybe the same thing in Europe and China. I don't know. But they don't expect another banner year in 2017 like in 2016. A better veal skin demand in Europe, especially for the good skins. And the lamb and sheep markets, which have been so depressed, are waiting for Paris, which I think is next week. Doesn't call it the Cement Queer anymore, it's another name, but everybody's waiting for that. Everybody's waiting for the next show, always, to answer all the questions and move all their merchandise. In North America this week, prices were essentially steady. Sales and shipments were underneath production again. More weeks than not, more hides are produced than what is sold and shipped, and still the market remains steady, so figure that out. Sellers report that there's a lot of bids $2 and $3 below the market, but we call that the $2 and $3 below the market syndrome because there's always interest, almost always interest, $2 or $3 below the market, unless there's some sort of really bad news going on. And speaking of bad news, the Hanjin problem is causing problem. The Hanjin bankruptcy is causing many problems. People can't get their hides not only on vessels, they can get it on vessels if they want to pay a higher freight rate, which Hanjin suppliers have instituted. But if hides have been shipped and they're sitting off Busan or off Shanghai, and they can't get them in, what's going to happen? The tanners need the hides, the seller needs the money, and they're sitting on ships. One person told us he had to pay $2,000 more in Hong Kong to get his containers cleared off the port. They were unloaded from the vessel, but the port wanted $2,000 in addition to the freight that the buyer had paid Hanjin. So things like this are going on, and somebody else raised the question, if you're a tanner and you bought X containers hides to tan and soak in October, and your hides can't get unloaded in September, are you going to have to buy more? Is that seller going to have to sell more? Lots of problems with this Hanjin problem, and you have to stay tuned because nobody knows what's going to happen. Will the Korean government come up with some money? Will sister companies of Hanjin come up with some money? We investigate that deeply or with detail in our U.S. Week in Review, which is out Friday. Leather business is still slow. Extra heavy Texas and wet blue are underpinning the market. There's an overhang of those products, and they can't get enough sold. So as a result, it's not helping the rest of the Texas steer market, the branded steer market, etc. Butts and natives seem okay. So until side leather business picks up and tanners have to buy in quantity, there's not any hope or expectations for a turnaround in the American market. And the question is, how long can producers who claim they're well forward sold hold on without accepting lower bids? That's it for today, for tonight, for tomorrow. Thanks for watching. HideNet.com. We'll see you next week.